Hello and welcome back to Book Nerd TV. I have recently listened to the audiobook Together by Dr. Vivek Murthy. It was published in April of 2020. Dr. Murthy is the once and current Surgeon General for the United States. And after his first tour, as it were, serving as the Surgeon General for the United States, Murthy moved his family to Florida. And in that move, he began to experience loneliness. This experience clearly piqued his interest about the phenomenon of loneliness. Even though you may have family, even though you may have friends, even though you may have a very interesting and engaging workplace. It must be said that loneliness is not the same as being alone. Loneliness is the emotional response to feeling socially isolated and can manifest itself in depression and anxiety and feeling as if you have no one to reach out to, even if you're surrounded by people. Together explores how in the 21st century, with all of the technology and the ability to interact socially over the various technologies and platforms, we still find ourselves facing an epidemic of loneliness. Now, this realization, while it may have happened for Murthy in 2020 or 2019 or thereabouts, whenever he started writing the book, the epidemic of loneliness has been with us, has always been with human beings. And while it is usually associated with people over 65, the retired, the elderly, loneliness is something that young people experience, middle-aged people experience. It is not something that is isolated. It's not something that is experienced only by those who are 65 years and older or those who are in retirement. Loneliness in this day and age is an epidemic, and loneliness has been discovered to be as detrimental to your health as smoking, as obesity, as physical inactivity. I found the book to be not something that was particularly new to me because I'd already read a book or two about loneliness or really social isolation. I think the first book that I can clearly recall addressing social isolation and loneliness was Bowling Alone. I forget who the author is, but I'll put a cover of the book up somewhere. Bowling Alone was more about sort of the social decohesion, how people were not spending time together in groups, whether that's together in a family or together in bowling leagues or baseball leagues or football leagues. All of these things, all of these leagues and these social groupings and interactions that occurred in the 50s, maybe moving into the 60s, how we have sort of lost, we moved away from those kinds of group activities and get-togethers as much as we used to. There aren't as many bowling leagues as there used to be. There aren't as many sort of just general group activities where people get together and have fun, recreate. I found Together to be an interesting look at the phenomenon of loneliness and how unintentionally people can fall into feeling lonely. The book is not necessarily a book about solutions to our loneliness epidemic. Dr. Murthy more adds his voice to the growing collection of books and research regarding just how damaging loneliness can be. As I said, I listened to the audiobook and I found the audiobook to be a very engaging listen. Dr. Murthy narrates Together himself, and he has a very conversational tone, so it almost feels like you're having a conversation with him, and it helps you understand that you don't have to be an elderly person to experience loneliness, that you can be a gainfully employed young adult, you can be a not so gainfully employed middle-aged person. And that's just to say that loneliness strikes everyone across the board, I think pretty much regardless of age, because research has uncovered that there are a lot of teenagers who feel very isolated and or lonely. There are young adults who feel it. There's everyone sort of up and down the age column can experience loneliness. And in our modern age, a lot of people do experience loneliness. Overall, I would say the book Together is a very good read, and I recommend, if you're interested in the subject, that Together is a very good read for you. If you are listening to the audio, I would say that you will find yourself engaged with his narration, as well, of course, as the subject matter. Murthy has the voice for and the ability to engage with his voice, the ability to storytell. Even though this is a nonfiction book, his ability as a storyteller, I think, comes through the audiobook and keeps you engaged and keeps you moving through the audiobooks. So I would give Together, the audiobook, like 3 mixtapes out of 5. Yes, I recommend Together. I think that you will enjoy either the physical hard copy or the audiobook. Whichever way you decide to engage with the book, I think you will enjoy it. That's all I have for today. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next video.